If you are a creative, you most likely get this question often. What are you working on? So, what do you say when you are asked that question and you're really not working on anything? So, you want to put yourself in a position where you have an answer for that kind of question when it comes, because it's usually a conversation starter, and that's then how you are able to network and meet people. But if your response is, I'm doing nothing right now, for instance, that may just be the end of the conversation, you know. But if, oh, there's this thing I'm working on, that just might propel the conversation to go further, so which means that I need to have something that I'm doing so that I can have reasons to have this conversation. But what do I do? What do I say when I'm really, genuinely, honestly, I don't have anything that I'm doing in that time? I know that as a matter of necessity, as a creative, you need to be creating. You need to do something. And I hold myself, accountable even for this, because I know that there have been times, a number of times actually, where what you're doing really is that you're waiting for somebody to call you, for work. It's either you are a producer, you are a director, you're a DP, you're an editor, and all that. So you are really largely going to depend on someone else to initiate the project for you to be able to get work. So when the producer in this case has not initiated the project, it means that you as a DP or as a director is doing nothing. So in that waiting period, what do? You have to do something. What are you doing? Are you just waiting to get a call? And I understand that for actors, um, actors can't wait a lot. In our space, especially where, especially if you're a growing actor, you need all the opportunities that you can get. So when no one is calling you, for instance, you just wait. So there's a tendency for you to feel like it's okay for you to chill. It's okay for you to wait, and then, well, nobody's calling me. Because nobody's calling me, I'm just gonna wait, until somebody calls me. So my point is that you usually can have a lot of reasons for you to be chilling. You're not the producer. I'm waiting for producer to call me. Oh, let me tell people that when they need actors, I'm here. Baba, if you need work, are they here? So I'm sure that you've heard people say to you, refer me and stuff like that, and referrals are really good and all that. But the truth is that even the people that you're asking for work most likely also need work themselves. So I mean, we all need work. So which means that we are all in that bubble, and that we are all finding our feet. So while I'm finding my feet to get to a different space, you probably are in a different space where you also need help with getting higher in the space that you are, and that's absolutely fine. But while you are there in that space, what are you doing? Now let me give you a scenario. We're about 7 billion people in the world. The people that get to be recognized among those 7 billion people are really the people who are doing. There is grace in the place of doing. When you do something, that thing leads you, to some recognition. Think about it this way. We've got 7 billion people. That's a category of everybody, who's in the world. If you do, you move from the category of people who are not doing, and you enter into another category. Even if that category is 600, say 3 billion people in the world who are doing, at least you're not one of 7 billion anymore. You are one of 3 billion. You're one of 3 billion. And then while you are there among one of 3 billion, if you do something that's very innovative among that people, you leave one of 3 billion, I probably become one of 1 billion. And little by little, you're getting some recognition only because you are doing. There's got to be the drive to do. The people that you know and that you can relate with, the people that you've got respect for, and then all of those things, is because they did something. Davido is Davido because he did something. He's definitely not one of 7 billion people. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. So just take the step, whatever that step is, and so make the decision, decide, and then do the assignment of what it is that I need to do. Once you start to probe things like that, you're going to begin to find answers. I saw a post where somebody said that people think that their lives are boring. They don't have stories to tell or whatever. Everybody just thinks that their life is boring. And the truth is that your life is not boring. It's because you just haven't been conscious enough to document the things that are happening in your day. That's the truth. I used to think that I don't have stories to tell. What am I going to document? Really? But then I had an experiment one time when I decided to do a diary on Instagram, and I called it Touch Diary. I was just writing stuff. I said I was going to write stuff for 10 days or thereabout. And then for whatever reason, I actually did find things to write about every day for 10 days. Before then, I had nothing to write about because I hadn't thought about it. I hadn't taken the time to consciously think about making that commitment. As soon as I made the commitment and it became like a lifestyle and a routine for me to write this thing, I found things to write. I found things to write about. And I really did get some engagement. I really surprised myself that really I could write like this. I didn't know that I could write like that. But because I made a commitment to doing that thing and I did it consecutively and consistently for 7 days, I found things to write about. So which means that the first step really is deciding that I'm going to do this thing. I don't know how. It's okay to not know how, but the decision to doing it will help you find out how to do it. When you get on a job as a newbie, whatever job you're working on a film set, for instance, for the first time, you don't know how it works. You are a newbie, you're a production assistant, you really don't know how things work. But because you want to find out is what helps you know how things work. And then before you know it, you grow up to become the production assistant or the production manager, the assistant director, whatever it is that you get to do, because you took the first step to get on that set and do something. A lot of people have excuses to not do. And I'm just encouraging. And this encouragement is for you as much as it is for me, that let's find things to do, so that really when those questions are asked, what are you working on? You have answers to those questions. But you're not finding things to do because you want to answer that question. You're finding things to do because there is grace in the place of doing. Because you don't want to remain one of 1 billion people. You probably want to be one of 300 million, 500 million, or whatever. And a man's gift makes room for him. Guess what? When the man's gift makes room for him, the man needs to be able to know what to say when he gets into the room. He needs to be able to know what to do when he gets into the room, which means the time that you are waiting now is the time that you have for preparation. All right? Prepare for the things that you're waiting for. This is the time for you to do that. Instead of waiting and hoping that things come to you and all that, what is the thing that you like to do? This is the time that you have to prepare for that time, so that when it comes, you're not then just running around. That producer who's going to call you and say, oh, I've got work to do, they're not calling you because they care about you. They're calling you because they think that you can do the job. So they're not really doing you a favor. I've got work that I want to do now, and it's either you are giving value back to me or not. So it's because of the value that you're going to give to me that I'm really calling you. So your duty is, how do I make them realize that I've got value, so that they are going to have constant need of me, that I am not going to have such a long time waiting for somebody to call me. So when it comes to the place that nobody's actually calling you, because truth is that you don't have control over who calls you or when they call you and stuff like that. So in that period of just waiting, there's got to be something that you are doing. We all have excuses. We all have reasons to say that there's nothing for me to do. We all have reasons for me to say that I'm just going to stay on the ground because I am on the ground. I need help. Nobody freaking cares about you. And that's the truth. Nobody just cares. Basically, the assignment that you then have to do is, what's in my environment? What's around me? What is it that I'm likely to be working on that helps me stay productive and not busy. Stay productive. And truth is, there are a number of things. When we don't apply ourselves to probe some things and think about what is it that I can do, we don't get to find out that really things that we can do. We don't know. But those things are right there, that you can do because you have control over the doing. So there's this popular guy that I really respect, FedWorks, who I was watching his story, and then he said before he did his first music video shoot, he was scared, but his people in the house told him, like, oh, you've been practicing in the house now, you've been doing a lot of light setups and all of those things, and then you've got it covered, so which means that as much as he was scared, to take the step to do the music video shoot, he already had practiced. He already had done stuff, he had prepared for what it is that he was looking for. And he's an amazing DP. That guy is one of 10 DPs in Nigeria because he did. So he's not one of 1 billion anymore. Maybe in the world, well, I'm just bragging about him because I think he's a really good guy. He's probably one of 500 million people because he is a great guy. He's not one of 7 billion. Doing stuff helps you move away from the category of being one of 7 billion and just being anybody who randomly exists. You're not a random person. Imagine God taking his time to put you here, and then you're deciding to be here for, and just not doing. You're not random. You're not random. So I'm basically just encouraging, make the decision to do something, then take the steps to finding out what it is that I need to do. This is a waiting period, all right? While I'm waiting in this period, I'm going to prepare for the things that I want to see. I'm going to prepare for what I would like to do so that when the opportunity comes, I'm ready for it. A man's gift makes him stand before kings and not mere men. When your gift has done the work and makes you stand before kings, do you know what you're going to say when you get in the presence of the king? What you're going to say needs to have been prepared during the period of your waiting.